To swim fast breaststroke, everybody talks about the pull and they talk about the kick. But there's another element to the stroke that's absolutely critical to go fast, and that is the lunge. The more effective swimmers can be with aggressively recovering their arms and their entire upper body to get back in line, the faster they're going to go. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. For a long time, breaststroke was all about pulling and kicking. And then Joseph Naj and one of his swimmers, Mike Barrowman, changed everything. They started talking about the lunge. And what they meant by that was an aggressive recovery of the upper body, the hands, and the head, everything moving forwards aggressively to get back in line as quickly as possible. Rather than just recovering the arms forward, the whole body was aggressively launched forward, or lunged as they called it, in order to help swimmers get back into line quickly so that they could keep resistance low, execute a great kick, and then be ready to get back into the next stroke cycle as quickly as possible. Even if swimmers have a great pull and a great kick, if they're not lunging effectively, they're going to struggle to go fast in breaststroke. So let's check out what it looks like so that you can have a better understanding of what your swimmers need to do in order to go fast in breaststroke. So we'll take a look at this both over and under the water to give you a better sense of what's going on. So right here, what we're going to watch is during the recovery of the arms, everything is going to happen really fast and really aggressively. So right now, he's just turned the corner, he's about to move his arms forward, and then quickly, boom, everything is back in line really, really fast. And so it's not just that he's trying to get the hands forward fast, his head is almost getting back into line before his hands reach full extension. And he's really getting there at the same time. And in some cases, you'll see swimmers that actually get there a little bit ahead of time. And they're being really aggressive with that lunge forward. So again, taking the breath, finishing the pull right there. And once the pull is finished, bam, he's getting everything back as fast and as hard as he can. And so what happens with that is two key things. One, he's going to get his head back in line before he kicks. So he's setting up the kick right there. And as you can see, this next frame starts moving backwards and he's already back in line. And that's going to allow him to get more out of the kick. And he doesn't have to wait for the kick. He can make that kick happen sooner and faster because he gets back into line faster. The other thing we'll watch is we'll pay attention to the hips. And so right here, his hips are almost at the surface, but then boom, he gets that head down hard, he gets the hands out in front fast, and those hips are way back up in line right away. And so he doesn't have to wait for the hips to come back in line because as soon as he finishes recovery, they're back in line so he can move right into the next stroke cycle. So this swimmer is swimming over 100 meters and is actually breaking the world record in this race. And so he's going really fast, but he's getting back into line every single stroke cycle because he's being so aggressive with the lunge. And you'll see too, if we watch his hands in the front, he's not waiting for the next stroke cycle. He's getting into it right away. But because he's so good with the lunge, he's getting back into line immediately, and that allows him to move into the next arm pull, the next stroke cycle immediately too. So he can use a really high stroke rate and still reestablish his body line every single stroke cycle because he's doing such a good job with the lunge. And that's why it's so important, because it allows swimmers to use faster stroke rates without sacrificing their skills in any way. And as we saw too, when they're really aggressive with that, it gets those hips back up in line even better. So it's an absolutely critical skill that swimmers need to master. They can't be passive with the recovery. It's not just the arms. The entire body needs to lunge forward to help the swimmer get back into a line quickly. So we'll take a look at another swimmer here and we're going to see the same thing. So finishes her pull and then right there being aggressive with the arms and boom, heads back in line as the hands reach the full extension. And so she's back in line immediately. And she's using even a faster stroke rate and she's going to get right into the next pull right away, but she's not sacrificing her alignment in any way. So she gets back into line. As soon as those hands are separated, everything is in line and she's ready to go for the next stroke cycle. She doesn't have to wait at all because she's doing such a good job of right here is boom, you can see that pop at the end being really aggressive, getting back into line. And if we watch her hips here, what you'll see is at the end right there, they pop up just a little bit. And so that allows her to get even better line by using that lunge, by pressing down, the hips pop up, and the more aggressively she can do that, the better. And so, and really, the faster they execute the lunge and the more aggressively, one, it gets them out of position quickly, but it actually gets them into a better position because it allows the hips to come up even higher. So the lunge is absolutely critical for great stroke rates without sacrificing skills. So not only will they get into alignment faster, they'll actually be in a better line as a result of a good lunge. So let's take a look at this skill in two different contexts over the surface. We'll take a look at a 200-meter race and then a 50-meter race so we can see the same skill displayed in a slightly different way. So if we watch these swimmers, you'll see they come up, and then once the hands finish the pull, then right there, it's the aggressive lunge forward. So the hands are moving fast forward, the head is moving down forward, and everything is moving forward as quickly as possible. So it's an aggressive movement. It's not just happening with the hands, and then the body is not passively returning down to the surface of the water. Everything is happening really aggressively. And the more aggressive swimmers can be, the faster they can get out of that position, and the better they can get into their line quicker. And when comparing 50-meter and 200-meter races, both swimmers are going to be aggressive with the lunge, and then the difference is going to be that the 50-meter swimmers aren't going to wait to get into the next stroke cycle, where the 200 swimmers might wait a little bit longer. And so that's more of a timing issue, but the lunge itself is still performed pretty similarly. So these swimmers are being aggressive with getting forwards and getting back into alignment well. Now, if we watch these swimmers, what we'll see is some real aggression moving forward. And you can see right there on the right and there on the left, everything is moving forwards really aggressively. You can see them shrug up. They're throwing their arms forward. They're throwing their body forward. They're trying to get everything forward. They're trying to lunge forward as quickly as they can. That will get them into the next stroke cycle faster, and it'll get them into the next stroke cycle without sacrificing their alignment. And as I said earlier, it will actually improve their alignment because the more aggressively they can move forward, the more aggressively the hips are going to come back up into alignment, and they're going to come up into alignment faster. So the more effective swimmers can be with this key skill. And so it's not a recovery in the sense that swimmers are just trying to get their arms back out in front. They're trying to be really aggressive with their entire body to not just get ready for the next stroke cycle, but to change their body position from one that's relatively vertical back to horizontal as quickly as possible so that they can get into the next stroke cycle as fast as possible. And just as importantly, they'll do that without sacrificing their alignment in any way. If you want to learn more about how to recover aggressively and get back into alignment fast with the lunge to reestablish alignment, check out the video below.